Hi, everyone. I hope you're well. My name is Aisha. I'm a business growth consultant. I help people expand their business online and also expand their wealth consciousness so that they're able to attract all the money, all the wealth, and all the success in the world. So, in the previous video, we were talking about different self sabotaging behaviors that people engage in and are sort of pushing the success, the wealth, the money that they are truly desiring. And we're going to discuss how do you actually overcome these self-sabotaging behaviors and move forward in your life and take a more aligned action towards getting the things that you want in the most easy and effortless manner. Okay, I am new to YouTube and I'm trying to figure out the lighting and the mic and the sound, all of those things. So please bear with me if the quality is kind of bad because I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm trying to play around with the light and sound and things like that. So, anyway, let's get started. So, the first thing I want you to become quite aware about is become aware about your responses to good and bad things that happen in your life, right? Because when you understand your behaviors, like when you gain mastery over yourself, that comes with you actively practicing self-awareness, wherein you're like, okay, fine, mental note, Aisha, you saw the way you reacted when someone complimented you. Okay, so that gives me a mindset of like, okay, fine, I get it. I sort of like got uncomfortable when this person complimented me. Or maybe something bad happens and then you make a mental note to yourself wherein you're like, okay, fine, Aisha, like you reacted to this particular situation in this manner, right? You got triggered when you saw this person do this. So when you gain mastery over yourself, wherein you're like understanding and becoming aware about your responses to both the good and the bad things in your life, it's like you have a secret way of running life because you learn how to run yourself, right? One of the biggest superpower in this world literally is mastering your emotions. And to get to that place where it feels like, those moments wherein it almost feels like someone has taken over you. It almost feels like you're possessed by something, wherein it's just so powerful that the words you're saying you don't recognize, you are not yourself, you are reacting in ways that you have never reacted before. It almost feels like you're literally possessed by someone, and that happens because you have no control over your emotions. You let things build up and then you overreact in these situations. But to be honest, there's no overreaction because you have let it pile on for so long. That is exactly why the reaction was so loud and so not you, I would say. Right? So when you consciously make it a practice to notice your behaviors in both situations, whether it's good and in bad situations. Why I'm saying good situations? Because we are so used to bad things happening, we're so used to things not working out for us, that we have constantly set ourselves to become uncomfortable when something good happens, or almost like reject the good things in our life, or almost when something good happens, you're like, okay, fine, so where is the next shoe going to drop, like we discussed in the previous video, right? So your responses to how you react when things go good for you or when things go bad for you, right? So building that as an skill set wherein you are like being mindful of your behaviors at all times. Secondly, asking yourself what is like my biggest goal for the next few days, right? Like what is something I am actively working towards. Okay, so if it's like, I want to ask my boss for a raise, I want to start my own business, I want to hit 20K in my business, I want to start this new hobby, or no matter what it is, anything that you want for yourself, okay, something big, something that almost intimidates you, which is so foreign because you've never had it, right? Your body, your mind is not familiar with that. What are you afraid will happen as a consequence of you achieving that thing? So no matter how much you want it, if your first instinct is like, oh my god, I'm afraid what will happen as a result of this happening, it could be any number of things. Maybe it's something that you're like, okay, fine, I want to start dressing differently, or I want to like start establishing more boundaries with people, or it's like I want to start this new job, I want to start applying for this, I want to start writing a book, I want to like creating more videos online, or whatever that is, that big desire that you have, which is like almost like, oh my God, it's not going to let me sleep. It's something I deeply want. Firstly, the reason you want it is because the reason you want it so bad is because you have it. There is a version of you that actually has it, right? And when you see that thing in someone else, it's actually calling to you to go and make that happen for yourself as well, right? So, but the catch is you have to also identify what am I afraid will happen as a result of it. Okay. So if I'm like, I want to normalize 30K months in my business, I want to normalize 10K months in my business. Or if I'm like, I want to like grow my YouTube channel, I want to like start driving, or whatever that goal of yours is, what are you afraid will happen if that thing actually showed up in your life? If tomorrow I woke up to like a million subscribers, what is the initial thing? Okay, aside from the happiness and excitement, what am I afraid will happen? Because there's always that whenever it's some, even if it's something good, if your brain is not familiar with that thing, it will create a lot of problems. It will create a lot of like situations. And oh my God, like I'm just making sure my mic is working because it happened that I was recording, but the mic wasn't catching it. And I just had that freak. Okay. So ask yourself, what am I afraid will happen if that thing showed up? Right. So, in terms of money, success, wealth, it shows up like this, which is like, okay, so if I do become successful, if I like do get that much amount of money, people will start treating me differently. Okay. People will think I got lucky, or I'm not worthy of this success, or, my relationships will get affected, or people will think I did something sketchy maybe to get where I am, or I'm afraid of the criticism and judgment that will come with it. Or what if I make it and then I fail, and then people will see me in that embarrassment, people will perceive me differently. They might be like n number of things. Maybe you're like, if I have more money, that's more problems, right? More money, more problems. Or you're afraid that if I'm successful, then my life will change in so many different ways that I will never be able to like live a normal life, or I will never be able to spend time with my friends and family. I'll just get so busy, and I don't want to become that career oriented selfish person. And you have all of these different fears come up for you. Okay. So it's so important that you also make a note of all of these fears that are coming up. Usually for women, it is like, if I become more successful, I won't be a good wife, right? Or if it's like, if I make more money, then that will create problems in my life. Or people start perceiving me differently. Or if I make more money, it's going to be uncomfortable. Like, what if people think I'm not good enough? Or what if my success starts offending people? Right? People have all of these different fears. Or people like sometimes have very irrational fears of what if like things just suddenly take off for me, and that triggers other people, right? So all of these are fears that you're subconsciously entertaining, that is restricting your behavior, that is not letting you go full out with what you want. Because although you might be taking all that action, but on a subconscious level there are certain dark shadow aspects in you which are not allowing that to happen, which are like, this is not safe, it's unfamiliar. All of these could happen. So unless and until you don't give your subconscious or that inner dark shadow aspect positive reasons to focus on, by training yourself, by training your subconscious mind, by training yourself, by mentally on a conscious and on a subconscious level, making yourself understand that success is good, more money, more wealth is good, me taking this action towards this thing is good. Because none of us have seen future, right? All of these irrational fears that you have, they're just that, they're just thoughts, they're just doubts, they're just irrational fears that you have, that are literally standing in your way of getting to that desire, to that extreme sense of like, oh my God, that self accomplishment that you want to feel. Maybe it's career wise, maybe it's something that you want to start, and you haven't been doing that because of all of these irrational fears that are playing in subconscious. So the main work is uncovering these subconscious fears on a conscious level, understanding that that's not true, that's not your story. It could be something that you picked up from your mom, from your dad, from society, from what people told you, from movies, Bollywood influences, and all of that. So your job is to on a conscious level understand this, and by consistently showing yourself the evidence of the opposite, what you do is you diminish that belief to the point that it has nothing to stand on. It's almost like, why the hell would I even believe that? Right? You develop that sort of confidence. It's like, that's ridiculous. I would never believe that. Right? So the point is to get there. So the first step to overcome your self-sabotaging behaviors is to understand your responses, both good and bad. Secondly, understanding what are you afraid will happen as a result of you getting that thing. Okay. And the third thing is, what are my current triggers? Okay. So in order for you to go forward, move forward in life, you have to understand and find acceptance with exactly where you are right now. And literally, like, I have like coached hundreds of women, okay, both through my private and my group programs and my courses. So I will tell you, this is where like people find it the most hard, like hardest to move on from, is finding acceptance in where you are right now. Okay. Whatever the situation circumstances is, we all have things which we are like, this could be better, that could be better, like, I don't like my job, I don't like how things are playing out for me, I don't like that I have to do this, I don't like that, life is playing out this way, I don't like that I'm not this, I'm not this yet, I'm not there yet, I haven't made it. All of the things that you are telling yourself, like right now, all of that has to stop. Okay. You have to find acceptance with where you are right now by identifying your triggers. Okay, so what is that thing that sets you off? Maybe it's the conversation with that particular coworker. Maybe it's when you speak to this one relative, or maybe it's when people disrespect you or people cut you off. Find ways for you to be able to resolve these things so that your day to day life, you are not in that reaction mode. You are not all the time fighting with yourself, fighting with your triggers. Because imagine the, like, see, throughout the whole day, you hardly have any energy left, right? After fighting with all those triggers, you wake up with like 100%, and then you give to people, you give to your work, you give to different things. And then you have this moment of, half the time, your these mental triggers that are happening, your brain is preparing defenses for these triggers because you haven't built self acceptance for where you are. So there is no creative energy left in you. There is nothing left in you to be able to build the life you want, to be able to take the action that you're wanting to take, to be able to get those ideas, those money making ideas, those investment ideas, those forward progress ideas, or whatever that you want to do, that success movement that you want to build for yourself. You have no energy. You have no creative energy left to be able to do that because you're too busy solving the triggers and problems that are coming up for you right now, right? So you have to understand that if I want to move forward and conserve my energy, you have to almost like make amends or bring self acceptance to where you are right now. I'll tell you a few ways to do it. One of the best ways is by constantly telling yourself why right now is the best case scenario, right? One excuse I always made for myself was, I'm a stay at home mom, I can never be successful, right? I had to work through that. I had to bring acceptance to the fact that why me being a stay at home mom is the perfect reason why I should be an entrepreneur. Why me being a stay at home mom is the perfect reason why I will be able to build a successful business. Why me being a stay at home mom is the best case scenario because I will get to be with my kids and build a successful business that I've been trying to build, right? So it's about building momentum by accepting where you are right now. Okay, this elevates your vibration, this elevates your mindset and takes you exactly where you need to be. Fourth one is giving yourself permission. Half the time, the reason we're not taking action, the reason we're not moving forward with what we want to do, or taking action but like marinating in fear the whole time, is because we're not giving ourselves permission to fail, giving ourselves permission to make mistakes, giving ourselves permission to experience, and telling us that it's okay if there is shame and if there is embarrassment. Okay, so to where you're going, like, this will be a very small price you pay. This little embarrassment that you experience if you failed, or if things didn't go right the second you start, that's a very small price to pay for the life that you're trying to build. I guess it's ridiculous for you to stop and not want to live the life that you want, thinking that what if I fail, what if I make a mistake, and people laugh at me, people will think I'm silly, or that people will perceive me a certain way. That's a very small price to pay for the life that you're building. Like if I think to myself that, oh my God, I started a new YouTube channel, like I don't know how many people will watch this. It's so embarrassing. What if someone sees that I have such less views? Does that mean I'm going to stop? Right? Imagine if I consistently did this for the next 3 months, for the next 6 months. What if I get like 1 million subscribers? So isn't this like a small price to pay for that big thing that I want, and the lives that I'll be impacting, the people I'd be helping? Right? So always look at it from that manner and give yourself the permission to mess up, give yourself the permission to be embarrassed, give yourself the permission to make mistakes, to fumble, to not have clarity, to all of these things. Just tell yourself that it's okay. You know what? I got myself. Half the time we don't do these things because we are like, what happens if it doesn't happen? There is that uncertainty. But if you build that confidence in yourself and you're like, you know what, I got my back. I got my back if I mess up. I got my back if I don't. I got my back if people are laughing at me. I got my back. I know why I'm doing this. I know my calling. I know my reason. I know the things that I want to do. People won't understand it, and that's okay. I got myself. Can you do that for yourself? So before, like people be like, oh my God, like Aisha, I want support. Like no one supports me. Like family doesn't support me. My husband doesn't support me. Do you support yourself? Can you do that for yourself? And the reason everyone is showing up as that version of themselves in your life is because you don't support yourself. The moment you start taking yourself seriously, the moment you start showing up for your goals, your desires more seriously, people will respond. They will help you. They will show up. The responsibility of your dreams is not on your family, on your friends, that they should support you. This is your dream. You got to have its back. You got to have your own back, and then you got to go ahead and build your empire. Right? That's the mindset that I want you to have. And if this made sense to you, like follow along. I'm so excited that I'll be creating all these fun videos. And I said, this is more for my deeper calling. And if it's that's something that enlightens you and you want to learn more about business and money and wealth consciousness and self-sabotaging behaviors and all of those amazing things, follow for more.